once was asked by people, what do you think about the Rebbe? He was the greatest man I knew, and the greatest, probably, Jew of the last 200-300 years. Don't know before, but my opinion. I think we have a schiyah to live in his time. It's a schiyah.
It came to him at a critical moment, and if I have, let's say, I'm at a crossroad and I need to make a decision, right or left, what do I do? Literally, I see the face of my mother or my father, and I know it comes to Ruchnius. I see that Rebbe is due to the Rebbe. I must say that personally I miss him profoundly and terribly.
ואני רק צריך עוד להוסיף, ואני מדבר בתוך ליבי. כשהוא נפטר הרבה, אני הרגשתי כאילו מישהו מהמשפחה שלי, ממש האבא שלי, איננו יותר.
Zwischen diese Chrenes, der Baal Hayimule, es war sehr echt, dass in Gebeten kam auch Sidim, als sie sollen verschweigen. Diese Chrenes, was sie gedenken und was sie haben gehört von älteren Sidim oder als sie von der Janoschen Nemon, was sie seinen Sipurin Baal Techen, was in der Gehe echt Lorabi. Wie der Rebbe der Baal Hayimule hat viele Mal geschrieben und gerät und gebeten, andere sollen schreiben, auf Zusammenkleiden sich Renes Yemei Keder.
This week marks the 16th year since Gimel Tammuz. This means that, unfortunately, many of our children never had the opportunity that so many of us did to see the Rebbe in person.
You know, I know you had said before that it was a paradox that he himself had no children, and yet he gave so many people blessings for children, but it was like we were all his children.
So the Rebbe comes into the sukkah and he says, you train gehata kofis? So we looked at Rebbe, no, who had kofis? Some 70-year-old Chassidim had kofis. We had. So the Rebbe says, bring a runter a Sefer Torah and you go a kofis. Wir sind the Rebbe's Kinder.
When you consider that we have a Rebbe who, even about the most silly, small matter, if my child is eating bananas and milk, is concerned and would call up and ask about that. After I hung up, I thought, oh, how precious and how beautiful and how wonderful and how lucky, how absolutely fortunate we are.
Was er der Kirche gewähnt bei dem ersten Nossi von Nidi, wo das sie gewähnt in Mesche Reihe Mehemne, hat der Kirche gleich geworden, Tschalo, Wicha, wie Jagetcha, Skinecha, wie Gimrelo, Afalpi, wo demot ist gewähnt der Dei, was sie bekommen die Teire, und was haben gesehen, ihre Eltern, was sie sein, dass viele die Jüngere, haben seine sehr Eltern gestanden bei mir mit Harsine. Hat ihn gleich herangestellt in alle liebere Kinyonen von Tere, Echo der Mini von Shalo Vicho und Shalski Neche.
A few years ago, we launched the My Encounter with the Rebbe project to record the stories and encounters of our Moshe Rabbeinu. So far, we've interviewed 350 people from many walks of life about their incredible experiences. In these last few years, we've gained unbelievable new information and insights about the Rebbe's life and how he led Klal Yisrael like a shepherd through one-on-one interactions.
The Orthodox Jewish public knew instinctively or whatever that to get a nature tova, to get a compassionate answer, to get a glimpse into a problem, you'd go to the Rebbe.
He asked specifically that I always stand up where I could and try to add mitzvot, so to speak, to the observance of the Reform movement wherever I could.
He hit on the table and said, I want you to know that I'm worried. אני מודאג. I'm worried that there are drugs in your school system. And I want you to discuss with me to see what can we do together to uproot it. לשורש את זה.
The Rebbe's message to me was that the work was very important and there were far more Jews who had not identified and who were afraid to identify than the numbers suggested, and that we had to work throughout the entire Soviet Union to go to every community to find where Jews are. He just believed that there were many, many, many hidden Jews, and he proved to be correct.
From all over the world, people have been contacting us with their encounters and telling us of the critical need to go out and document more of these stories. We've discovered hundreds, actually thousands of individuals who had fascinating meetings and correspondence with the Rebbe.
That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Already, hundreds of clips have been presented on Living Torah, and a number of films have been released featuring these testimonies. But we've only just scratched the surface. As time moves on, people are getting older, and we're losing the opportunity to capture their priceless memories.
I remember came people one time to...
Well, the phone is at Echetairor, the Adgosche, auf jeden Fall seine Ideen soll aufhalten und abhielten und übergeben die Unionen Technik von der Delischen Familie.
Over the next 3 years, we'd like to expand this project dramatically. Our goal is to go out and interview 1,000 individuals, Hasidim, Shluchim, and community leaders, men and women, private individuals, and heads of state. Each person has a story, and each story carries a part of the Rebbe's life. These stories are your stories. Now, as Gimel Tammuz approaches, we're asking you to please help us save these precious testimonies. A generous sponsor has offered to match every dollar we raise in this campaign. You can donate and get involved at 1000encounters.com. Send us leads on who we should interview, sponsor an interview, join together as a group to sponsor a series of interviews, or get together as a family to interview your father, mother, or grandparents. At this point, the only thing holding us back is funding. The more we raise, the more interviews we can conduct. Together we can save every single encounter from getting lost, help our children and each of us to learn from and be inspired by these moving and uplifting moments of the Rebbe's life.